So excited to be sharing this with you today. Terror of Mechagodzilla is one of my all-time favorite Godzilla movies. Maybe my favorite of the Showa era. That or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. I had both of those on tape as a kid and watched them until the tape wore out. But man, I have a ton of Mechagodzillas and I'm excited to do a comparison and see the differences and show them all off with this new figure. But I do not have a Titanosaurus at all. To my knowledge, we don't even have any sort of Titanosaurus figures that exist. So this might be the first. Really excited for this. So let's use the power of editing to get these guys out of these awesome packages and take a look at the figures. But before I do, let's just show off the back here too. It's the same back for both of these here. And what I thought was curious was it does not show the original Mechagodzilla on here that we used to have, because if you look at the old packaging, it'll show Mechagodzilla Space Titanium, and now it just shows 74, 75. So that's a little curious. Yeah, check it out. This is some old packaging that I still had. And you can see here it lists the Space Titanium versus the regular release, and in this one it doesn't, which I think is their way of retconning out the original release because it was a little embarrassing. We'll look at that in a second. Hey, they're looking pretty cool. I'm liking these guys a lot. I do have some problems, but not many. In fact, really only one. And that's if you look at this Mechagodzilla here, the seam on mine is pretty thick, and it wasn't actually even that noticeable in the package. When I took it out of the package, it just kind of split open a little to where you can even kind of press it in a little bit together. So that's a little bit disappointing. I've had a couple of my ReAction figures have a bit of a noticeable seam, but this is probably the most noticeable of any I've ever had on one of these, and it leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth because otherwise this is a phenomenal figure, and I can't wait to do some comparisons with the other one I got. But let's look at Titanosaurus, because we ain't never seen one of him before. He is so good. I love how we can see that light variation of the orange going into the bright yellow on here. The texturing on him is phenomenal. I love that we got the little bit of tongue sticking out. The eyes are painted good. We got more of that color grading going down along the spines there in the back. And the tail moves. It better move for this guy. That's his main thing, is wagging that tail with those big hurricanes that he makes. We got good leg movement there. Goes that far up. Doesn't really go back at all. The arms go all the way back but can't quite reach around for a 360 just because of them hips. And the head moves around too. So this is a great looking figure. The painting is really good on it. The sculpted detail is wonderful. And yeah, like you see a little tiny bit of a seam there, but it's not really noticeable across the figure. Unlike this guy, who is just, it's rough on him. Just on that one side, like it looks bad here, but it's especially noticeable on him. It's just, yeah, that's a bit disappointing. But let's compare him to the other one. This is the Space Titanium version, which is just the regular metallic, but I also have the original release here, which they sort of retconned out, and I just called the toy version because they do have vintage toy variant. So I'm just figuring this is the vintage toy variant of Mechagodzilla with that flat coloring, but that is a little bit disappointing, and that's why they gave us this original Space Titanium release. And there is a little bit of sculpting differences. One of the main things that stands out is the MG is now MG in blue with the smaller font and the 2 down there. The head appears to be the same, but the body is different, at least on the front of the sculpt here. You can see a little bit. We have the dark gray detailing like we do on the shoulders and the in-between joints. So That's the main difference. The legs appear to be the same, just with different paint applications. At least I'm not noticing anything different there with my naked eye. But we do have the different sculpting there. Just with the body, you get this added row here being fully painted and a little bit different. So yeah, very minor differences, but there are differences, and I'll be excited when we stop getting this one and get a few more of this one as far as the variation, because I know they love to do that. And just throwing this in there too, I got the half transformed one. So here's the whole shebang of the regular Mechagodzilla releases that we've gotten. See them all next to each other. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this guy, except for the really big seam. But it's not the worst thing. It's just it's just me being nitpicky and critical, which I think you should be, especially since, as far as I know, I'm like the biggest fan of these Super7 reaction figure lines. But I love them, and this guy especially is going to go so good in my big monster diorama. He's so much fun. Love it. Thank you for joining me. Had a lot of fun, and can't wait to get another one of these guys in the classic lineup. Give us Ebra.